and then another month and a half in the hospital.
Oh, is this thing working good?
Yep, we're online.
Also.
Whoa.
Like, are we on?
Whoa.
We're on.
Where
are
the
we?
fuck are we?
What year is this?
This is different.
Is that right? You guys are like in chairs already.
Oh.
Do I go?
Did you put it back to?
Yeah, that's a chair. That's where your ass goes.
Did you put it back to the thing?
No, remember delay.
Oh, delay.
Yeah, it's on the delay.
Okay, so this is really strange. I'm very
Yeah, you're in a chair with the
shaken
back.
about.
Why are you telling me no data now? What's going on?
There you go. Also, you got the chat up because we don't have the TV to do that.
Okay, so,
Yeah, that's true.
Hang on, we're gonna buffer a minute. It's acting up. Give it a second. It's almost there. Okay, I think we're all right. No, now it's acting up again. What the fuck?
Let me check.
Good.
Are you off of Wi-Fi?
Okay, we're good.
I'm not on the. Wait a minute. I am
Why is
on
it-
Wi-Fi.
So things can be choppy in OBS and still be fine real time. I have that problem all the time. I've learned to
Let me make
ignore
sure.
it.
Okay, yeah, we're online.
Yeah.
It was doing something weird in the
On the YouTube.
on the
thing
YouTube
itself?
part of it. Welcome, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. We're on location at the top secret Pints and Pistons testing facility.
At Crash Test Facility.
Yeah, we did have one of those. Yeah, it is officially day 0 since our last incident.
Yeah. If you go to our Facebook, I was letting everybody know about
and
that
there,
we're about
there
to be
will
live.
will be footage.
Well,
uploaded
yeah,
on
no.
the YouTube channel as
If
well.
you look at our Facebook, I said, we brought my mini bike out to meet Chris's mini bike, which that was fun loading it up. It will fit in the expedition, but
Sorta. I mean,
yes,
there are steps taken.
It was a pain in the butt, but we definitely will be getting Zach's trailer and picking it up that way. So it's gonna be here for a day or two because I'm like, me and Sabrina trying to get it into the expedition was a pain in the butt. Getting it out, amazing. But I'm like, we can get it back in there, amazing. But
like a couple of monkeys boning a couple of footballs.
No, we figured it out. But it's one of those. I don't want to do this at 11 o'clock at night when I get home, and I can't leave it
And
there by
it'll be
itself.
so easy just dropping the ramp and literally riding it up onto the trailer.
So that's why I
and
was
strapping
like,
it
hey,
down.
dang, can we, we'll figure this out. We had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm
They-
hurting.
like-
I'm hurting. But man, we had so much fun.
They wanted to keep riding instead of doing an episode.
Yeah, we almost went like, you know what? Like we could
Just put a
keep
camera
on.
out back and watch us ride.
But we got here at 3:30 and ended up working on my bike for about an hour.
Yeah, they were still fiddling with them when I
stuff.
got here around 5ish.
But we ended up getting it going enough. We did
Did a drag race.
Drag racing.
Set out a circuit and did
hot laps.
Did a time attack on
And
the circuit.
And that's a really good exit. Oh, there he goes. And I wrecked the bike, and I went whee. And yeah, in slow motion. You gotta admit that is a really good tuck and roll because I could have.
No, it was the planting of the right foot and then launching off of it. That was.
It was the superhero.
Yeah.
That was nicely done.
But it was one of
Action
those.
movie.
If I didn't do that, it was gonna be straight face to the ground. It would have been just straight face to the ground. And I'm like, you know what? I have to do this. And if I don't try to tuck and
It's gotta
roll,
protect his beautiful face.
it wasn't the face. I'm like, I'm gonna go arms out and just like break everything. So nope. Try to roll.
I don't know. I mean, you were low enough, and I mean, you're always low enough.
Yeah.
But I think you were low enough and slow enough that it it would have made an impressive scorpion.
Yeah, no, but I didn't want to do
I
that.
would've.
So I did a nice.
Although, I mean,
nice
with,
roll.
with you though, it'd kind of be a mini scorpion.
Yeah, no.
Be
it
like
was
a little baby
it was a nice
scorpion.
roll.
Like a baby. Yeah, I was gonna say.
A little baby scorpion.
It still messed up my leg, which I didn't even realize until adrenaline wore off and my heart rate went from 150 to normal, and I'm like, ow, that's why my knee hurts.
You still have 2 of them though.
Well, it was my left. It was my left one that I hurt though. So it was my left one I hurt.
In spirit, I guess.
Even if you lost it, we can't be shoe buddies.
I know.
I'm going to do a quick adjustment because we look really red.
Well,
Yeah.
we've been out in the sun all day too.
It's a light.
Hang on.
It's a
Chris is
light.
playing.
Hopefully that's
So, do you guys remember the Toyota Paseo?
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Say,
Oh,
which one was
yes.
that? The little tiny car?
little
Yeah,
tiny
the
two-door?
two-door.
Yes.
I saw one
On
last
the
week.
way here.
Was it blue?
light metallic blue.
Yes.
And it's beyond minty fresh looking.
Amazing
it
looking.
It looks new.
It has to be the same one.
It was by Holder.
Yep.
Just outside of Holder where I saw it.
And I saw
a red faded one occasionally.
I see that one all the time too, but this was like a light metallic blue one.
I know that. I love that.
And
color
it went by my work, and I was like, oh
the
my
Pistons
god.
were like so underrated.
But like I said, that little thing was like it looked new.
Mm-hmm.
It was beyond minty fresh. Like for an old car, it looked new.
So 2 big car spots for me. Number 1, an OG, like an original Mini Clubman. Like the actual Clubman version, like the like with the barn doors that opened up. One of those. And then I saw an early '90s, not the 4Runner. What's the Japanese? Hold on, my brain's misfiring. The Japanese version of the 4Runner. Hilux. A Hilux Surf.
Oh.
Was it white?
No, it was blue.
It was blue? I've seen a white Hilux
Blue or purple.
Surf.
Was it towards your work?
It was on 19 going south.
Oh, okay. I saw a white Hilux
And
Surf
it had a tag on the back of it, the plates around, JDM Classics.
Okay. So
that came from Virginia. Speaking of also imports like for sale, and I usually don't see like things in car lots or anything like that as counting as car spots because it's kind of there, but just north of Dunellen on the left there's one of the couple little garages that are right there that also have stuff for sale. I didn't stop to see what it was, but it was either a High Ace or a Homie.
I know what you're talking about. Yep.
For sale.
Mine, and I texted a group about this, so it was last night. All of a sudden, hey, I heard a noise, and I'm like, whoever it is going all out, but you could tell they were just going all out just to do the speed limit, and there was someone with a 4-door Chevette bombing down a pop-out.
Just doing their best at 35.
And arm out the window, and you could and classic, and just, I came running inside, I'm like, there was a fucking 4-door Chevette. She's like, why do I care? I'm like, you don't care, but there was a 4-door Chevette bombing down, hitting bump stops, everything.
This was for the boys.
Great. And then it's not there now, so it must have sold. But earlier this week, from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it hasn't been there the last 2 days, but in front of Love Chevy, there was a mint, and I mean, like, looked like it came off the showroom, silver Saturn View Redline, the SUV.
Nice.
So that has the J Series all-wheel drive, and it was mint. It was, it looked brand new. If I would have stopped it, I would say it probably had 30 to 40,000 miles. That was it.
Speaking of that, you know what I saw the other day? I saw a silver Saturn Ion Redline.
Oh,
wow. Yeah.
I love seeing old Saturns. But
I saw something today that you would have taken particular interest. I was on my way to Gainesville. First thing in the morning, lined up at the landfill. They're on 41 for Marion County. Two-tone, like brown and tannish square body.
Ooh,
like an early '80s square body. Just out there doing square body
things.
And I mean, it wasn't like a super clean minty fresh truck, but it wasn't really bad either. It was like just an honest, what marks it had on it earned them.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm wondering what the price tag on that View was, because for them to take it in as a trade and not put it to auction, and the fact that they didn't park it in like the used car lot. They put it on the grass right there in front of racetrack.
Yeah.
And like in the prime spot, and I'm like, they knew like that had like someone, and how quickly it's gone now.
Yeah.
Someone had to been like, yo, I'm looking for this, and that. I mean, those things. It's got the J Series. You're good for 300,000 miles.
Yeah.
On
Did either of you two catch the Toyota Solara for sale a week or two ago on Facebook? So I know you're not but still, I don't know, 07 maybe, whatever, the Toyota Solara era.
Yeah.
Red with a tan top, 19,000 original
Oh,
miles.
yes,
One owner, and they only wanted like $2,500 for it.
Yep, and it went quick.
And it was it was mint. It was mint.
It wasn't a like rebuilt title, and it was, and they just
So clean, unbranded title.
And it was
somebody stole
nice.
that car.
It was nice. Well, somebody probably did steal the car, and that's why it sold for so cheap.
I have 2 more parts coming for the BMW. I should upload the BMW on Pints and Pistons. I forgot about that. I have videos of that. the cheap BMW Endeavors. And
yeah, I'm interested in because I want to drive it because I want modern straight six in my life, and the last straight sixes that I drove were old flatheads that are 100.
Do we have chat?
Yep.
Right here.
There's two things that prevented me from taking it here tonight. One is I realize it has a brake light and a headlight out. Two, I ordered the wrong brake lights for it, so the brake lights are not in it right now at all, and I'm waiting for the new ones to come.
Oops.
Three, I still have not been able to get the transmission lines off of the old transmission cooler.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe going to Mike's house, it would be fine, but I think the transmission would overheat if I was to drive
Yeah,
it
I
here.
wouldn't take the chance.
No, so, and like I said, I'm still...
Not for what your ultimate plans for the car are. I definitely wouldn't take
I'm
the
still
chance.
messing with it, and that was something I wanted to do tomorrow, was mess with that. I got a lot of crap I got to do tomorrow, though. I need to get that... that's the only thing holding me back from driving it, is... It has the terrible misfire. I still got to do the valve cover gasket, but, like... Transmission cooler. I gotta get it done. It doesn't leak coolant though, because I did the other side and
I saw
no
his
coolant
arms
leaks
go
or
up and
nothing.
it looked like
it's stuttering on here every once in a while, but it's straight. It's smooth on the actual stream.
Because we got that delay.
Yeah. So K-Truck escapades. So
Right?
a few days ago, I
How
told you
close-
guys about the
how close
Honda
together are
Acti.
those pedals?
Oh my God! I told you about the Honda Acti I saw in my neighborhood that still had all the writing on the windshield, like it had all of the auction and all the shipper info on it. And I hadn't seen it for a while, so I thought it may have been someone just driving around the neighborhoods to get familiar with right-hand drive. Saw it yesterday in the neighborhood, all the writing and everything off of it. Looked like they were doing utility stuff with it. So I have a K-Truck in the neighborhood, an Acti.
Nice.
But Nate, our friend Nate, that was running Cars and Coffee for a little while, he picked up a 1993 Hi-Jet.
Nice.
Daihatsu Hi-Jet, and I bombed it around the parking lot. So I've driven a K-Truck finally. And oh my God, they're tiny inside.
Uh-huh.
I was gonna say, I can imagine you also do have big feet too, like
Foot
foot
and a giraffe leg.
I did say feet. You have big foot, yeah. I imagine like that
there
must have
is-
been kind of easier for you.
Well,
Or maybe not.
well, like I
don't
said,
know, 'cause
the pedals are
They're
really
like
really
right
tight,
here.
but the brake pedal and the clutch pedal are separated by the steering shaft, and it's very agricultural inside. And it did get a little blood sacrifice. I scraped my toe on either the underside of one of the pedals or something on the steering. But I drove K-Truck around the parking lot, and it was pretty fun.
Nice.
First gear was like an absolute crawler gear. Like you could just let the clutch out in first gear. I could have almost just stepped out and just walked alongside it. But then second gear, just kind of bombing around. Nate said the one thing getting used to is being on the right-hand side of the car is kind of drifting to the left a little bit.
Right.
And which is something that I've heard about. But as far as actually sitting in there and actually, manipulating the controls and shifting with the right hand, it's not a problem at all.
No, it's really not.
But it is really tiny inside. And like I said, you're just kind of just sitting there. It's like you got a steering wheel here, your arm's hanging out the door, there's a windshield right here. Like everything is just brought in really close. But yeah, I kind of hate Nate for letting me drive it because now I want one even more.
Well, as you said, like you weren't like picking on me for being my size, but
you would absolutely fit in that truck way better than I do.
Because you gotta think of like the market, like they're they're not American size. They're my size.
Well, it's like one of the
fun size.
The woodworking YouTubers I follow, John Malecki, he used to be a linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he bought a little Acti, and he's like, sight unseen, pretty much had it delivered, and he's like, I can't wait to drive it, and he don't fit because he's like 6'3", 6'4".
Well, Cletus
literally can't get in.
Cletus is 6'6", and he manages to fold his giraffe ass into the Acti that JH gave him.
Yeah.
And he apparently he loves that little thing.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's like, yes, having 2 feet would be easier just because not having to go around the steering shaft to go from one side to the other.
Yeah.
So
and it's the fact that the steering shaft isn't like in a normal car where it's like pinned up underneath.
And it's not an angle. It's
between your legs.
It literally comes right down between the
pedals. At that
pedals.
point, it's literally like a go-kart type deal. Like it's
I have
what's the issue of like we've been trying to find Brian a go-kart, and I almost found one, and I was telling the guys about it, and like if we could find something,
because they're thinking of a go-kart to play with because I can't really do mini bike things.
But we want Brian to be able to join us in the fun, and we've almost found one. I found one that was a good price, and we're trying to think of like rigging up like a hand throttle, which you gotta think like the steering wheel doesn't turn multiple ways like a
no,
car.
it's like this lock to lock, so that's not a problem.
You could do something like that,
on there.
and like I mean,
yeah.
Brian needs something like that because me and Chris are having a
have
blast with it.
I have a Big Bear 400 to play with that I need to do. I probably clean the tank out, put a fuel filter in it, and it needs tires.
But
it's not the same as these little things.
Right.
Like I said, I mean,
you'll be way faster than us and all that. But no, you need something low to the ground, just like I did.
Well, like I said, I mean, my big bore it was originally bought to pull airplanes around on the ramp at Denellen. Mm-hmm. So it's got the centrifugal clutch in it, but it is a 5-speed sequential, manual. And it's fun to rip in the neighborhood. Like on the dirt roads, I take it easy because obviously, we have to maintain our roads, and I don't want to piss off my neighbors.
Right.
But out on the paved road, I'll I'll have a little fun with it. But yeah, it's definitely quicker than these things. But it's not the same.
Yeah.
Definitely not the same.
Well, this is how small they are and all that. Like you're only going 30, but
so mini bikes are a quintessential expression of the fun you have driving a slow thing fast versus driving a fast thing slow with the Big Bear.
But it also goes beyond that because, when I was a kid, there were four-wheelers around, but not everybody had those because they were really, really expensive. And they still, new ones.
The amount of car, like for the price of a new four-wheeler,
I get a K-truck.
Well, or you can even buy a really nice car.
Yeah, like a four-wheeler, a golf cart, or side-by-side. I mean, financially, a K-truck makes way more sense than all of those things because road legal and all that sort of thing.
Right. Depending what state you're in.
But the mini bikes also are a kind of callback to being a kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Because probably one of the first motorized things that we ever got on when we were kids were go-karts and mini bikes.
Well, see, I didn't have that. It was a lawnmower, but same thing.
Like I said, but that was, basically it was something simple, something small, powered by a lawnmower engine.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, I got that thing for the nice price that I got it for. I have $60, if that, into it. I mean,
I know you're less than $100 in your upgrades and mods to it.
Well, not even upgrade, just even getting the brakes to work and all
maintenance
that.
and stuff like that. Yeah, you're less than $100 into it.
We just had to replace the spark plug in it, and I went with the expensive spark plug. That was $6.
Yeah.
And on our way out there, I'm like, it's just like back in the days of when we were in high school of working on the old Hondas, where you could get a distributor for $50, doing all the intake to throttle body was $50.
Do you want to know how much the valve cover gasket set was for the BMW?
Expensive.
How much?
Probably $200.
Almost.
Yeah.
For about.
Whereas when we were working on a D15, it was $8
$12
for a cork gasket. There you go. Here, but it's back to that where we're having
cheap
much fun.
It's cheap fun.
We are
that you don't have to you don't have to think a whole lot about
ear
it.
Ear to ear smiling. I'm like, oh man, I need to go get another spark plug. I don't have to buy 8 of them that were $10 a piece, and it's gonna be $8. It's like, okay, I just spent $6
on a fancy one.
Yeah, on a really fancy one. Let's go rip this thing around, and that's it. And we're having a blast with them. It's the best of both worlds.
You know what we're not having right now?
A beer.
Bingo.
Well,
so yeah, I need to figure out how the fudge to get these lines out. So you got the metal transmission cooler, right?
Heat.
And it has nipples onto it, and it goes into the radiator with clips to hold it into place on the radiator.
Did you rub them just right?
Yes. And
what type of clips?
WD-40.
Metal or plastic clips?
Plastic clips. So the rubber transmission lines have the quick disconnect ends that go into the metal pipes that come off of the transmission cooler. The car fell down and hit the road and got all banged up.
Yeah.
And it's dented the lines, and I tried getting in there with pliers and bending them around. I can't get my quick disconnect tool on the metal nipple to get into the line because of how bent up the lines are.
So you're putting a new cooler in it, right?
Yeah, I have the new cooler already installed. I need to switch the transmission line side.
I was going to say...
that's the only thing I was thinking, but my problem is that's a sealed transmission, and I really don't want to lose that much fluid.
Maybe a pair of... bolt cutters to clip,
and then clamp them real quick with vice grips or something.
Yeah, and then use the tool, and then use the tool to try to get that off the line.
Yeah, because that's the only problem I have. Like I said, the other side's done, and I have the whole system filled with coolant. I have it burped and bled. The thing holds normal operating temperature. Doesn't leak coolant from anywhere. Ice freaking cold AC and everything. It actually runs so much better than it has. Because I really think the thing had the wrong gas in it, and
There is a read in, but I can't read it.
Whoa, what is this? It's an interesting color.
Oh, it's only 100 calories.
Oh, hell yeah. I like that.
And only 6.5 carbs. You're going healthy on us, Brian.
Wasn't my intent.
Where'd you get this from?
I've never heard of this brand
Exactly,
before.
exactly. This is definitely not on our list.
Like, no, I've never heard of this brand before.
I know.
I'm intrigued.
So, what I have here is
God, look at the color.
Jack's Abbey Craft Lagers Blood Orange Wheat Radler.
Ooh.
Oh, he did blood orange, though.
And it's a rattler.
Well,
Remember the last time we did a blood orange?
my Lanta.
yeah, but the last time we did a Blood Orange, that was a really nasty IPA.
Smell that. Smell it.
Do you want me to do the...
Yeah, and I think the alcohol percent on this is low. I think it's
4.
Yeah,
exactly at 4. So,
Man.
this is a deliciously fruited lager brewed with blood orange, natural extract, and wheat. Step infusion mash. What started as a popular summer option in our beer hall quickly became a phenomenon that showcases the versatility of lager. Blood orange oils spark bright, fruity flavors complemented by wheat to make this a most refreshing beer. Sorry, I am not a reader.
But also, too, the text on that thing is
hard.
really small.
I was really wondering how they kept the alcohol content down with the blood orange, but you
Also,
said oil. So that
100 calories.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
so
what
I
you're
would
saying.
100
And
calories
6.5
and
carbs.
Yeah,
That's what
I
you were
know.
saying.
It's a diet
Yeah, like
beer.
I said, it wasn't even my intention for that.
It's a
but
light beer.
Gentlemen, in this opposite universe, being the top secret
Yes.
Pints and
Cheers.
Pistons test track, cheers,
Yes.
salute,
We're at the-
Slancha.
Pints and Pistons secret test track facility off of 40 in Ocala.
Can pie.
God damn, my hand hurts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's perfect for this weather.
I was about to say, this is the most perfect.
I gotta
beer
mow
for
my
this.
yard tomorrow too, man. This would be perfect for it.
Yeah, like I said, I was.
Man.
Yeah, like I said, I was up in Gainesville today,
Oh,
so I
that's good.
stopped at Total Wine and found this one, and I ended up finding another one for next episode as well. So I did it.
So the
That's
one
good.
I found,
Oh, that's good.
I found it.
half
There
gone
was 2 of them that I almost got, but then I was walking back and I saw mine in the clearance aisle, like at ABC, but it wasn't clearance, but it was just sitting there, and I'm like, I've never even heard of that before. You know what? I'm gonna grab it.
Yeah,
So that's what's in the thing.
that was kind of the thing with this one. It was like I'm like, I know for damn sure this is not on our list.
License and
I had-
registration just commented. What's up, gentlemen?
Hey.
License and
Hey.
registration. Good to see you.
So I had
Also,
Careful with that
del-
gentleman word. Well, yeah.
Also, there's a delay, so if we're just seeing it and you commented, sorry, we had to do that.
I had a Polish beer last weekend.
Yes, you sent
Oko.
us pictures
Oh,
of that.
yes, you did.
Okochin is how you pronounce it. And it's apparently the most popular craft beer in Poland. They come in these big frickin' bottles with this big cup, and it has like a measuring spot, and it fills perfectly up with the bottle. And it was like Marzen-y, caramelly.
Well, most of those
Amber-y.
European beers like that are like that.
It was really, really good.
I almost picked. There was a German beer that I found in the same aisle that, you know, if it's still there, I might get it for next time.
The food there was also.
Where was it?
So it's in Winter Park. It's called Anna's Polish Restaurant.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep. I know exactly.
Yeah, and I'd never had Polish food, and I assumed
it's amazing.
it's kind of like, you know, German, Belgian,
No.
really different. So Paige and I went there.
Did you
and
get
like,
any pierogies?
yes, we did. Like when we walked in the door, the guy's like, "Hello, sorry, please sit down. It's just me, wife, and my sister working tonight. We work whole restaurant. Please sit wherever." I'm like, "Okay."
I bet
And
you
this
those
restaurant
pierogies
was
were fucking
packed.
amazing.
And dishes were flying out, and I'm like, so you said that it's just like you, your wife, and your sister working. Oh yes, and I'm like, so your wife serving? He said, yeah, sister's in the kitchen. She's a brick house. I was like, obvious. I'm like, dude, she's pushing out plates, and he's like, she is good. So we had this thing called a gypsy potato pancake.
Oh.
It was a giant potato pancake
I love potato pancakes.
with like pancetta and different things, this thick beef gravy
Oh.
with beef and pork and this like cream sauce on top of it. Thing was like that big around, and then pierogies and kielbasa with caramelized onion jam. Oh my! I never had Polish food before. That was hearty, whole, and delicious. It was very brown. Everything was very brown, but it was yummy.
I love pierogies. So
I don't care about the onion part of it, but everything else that sounds delicious.
All I could think of those regular car reviews. They put the plate down like it's brown.
Everything is brown.
But see, I absolutely love that food because besides being French, the other side of me is Hungarian. Mike. It's
not French. It's French Canadian. That's completely different. That's where your dickhead side comes from.
So it's Hungarian, and that's where my
they were playing Polish pot music.
Yeah, that's where my giant circles
cool.
come in my eyes. But they're the pierogies and the dark sauces that come with everything. It's just hearty, and you're just love it so much. And there's a restaurant down in Sarasota. That I forgot the name of it, but it's like a pierogi warehouse, and all they do is pierogies, and it's a massive place, and we want to go so bad. If it wasn't a 2-hour drive down there,
I did have a car spot too at the place that we went to.
Was that the pierogi mobile?
No, it was a McLaren, MP, what's that? The older one.
The fax machine.
Thank you, the fax machine.
Yeah, the fax machine.
Yeah, it was one of those, and it was black. It was lowered. It had gold NPRPF 41s on it. It looked like it had been modified and everything. It was pretty freaking sweet. And this place was in a Aldi's shopping plaza, and the dude was at Aldi's, and it looked pretty freaking rad.
One way to afford a McLaren.
Well, it's probably on his 5th owner. At this point.
Yeah, those early ones, they were prone to have issues with engines and transmissions.
Well, you gotta think it's 2010,
nothing's
2011.
broke on my car right now. Everything.
Yeah, well, you just went and said it out loud, so you wouldn't.
I've just been trying to watch the video.
The sound is actually really good.
Yeah, the sound. I'm just trying to watch.
I really thought it was neat though, because when I hooked that trailer up, I found out that one of the brake lights was out. My car literally tells me if a trailer brake light or indicator light is out on the trailer you have plugged into it. And I was like,
nice.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
And I have been in the car while I was towing a trailer, and it does really. You don't even know a trailer's there.
Yeah,
that's not
even though it was just a couch, but still, it.
So I felt it with the BMW quite a bit.
Well, I can imagine that's a lot heavier than the couch one.
The Skylark is a shell. I really didn't feel it much with that. And then today, even with the concrete table, I barely felt it.
You finally moved that one.
It's gone. Yes.
Finally.
Well, so I was gonna take it.
It was a very pretty table, but it was.
We're doing current events on Pints and Pistons. I was gonna bring it to the dump because nobody wanted it, and then I called up.
It was a really pretty table.
I called up Zach's mom because that's where the trailer. Mind if I swing by and grab the trailer because I don't want to just come up to your house when no one's there. And she goes, "Well, it's fine. What are you up to today?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm taking this concrete table to the dump." And she goes, "You mean like an outside concrete table?" And I said, "Yeah." And it's got mosaic tiles on it and everything. She's like, "Can you send me a picture?" I sent her a picture. I said one of the benches is messed up, and she said,
"Very pretty."
She said,
"A very pretty table."
How about you bring it here? I've been looking for one for the backyard, and I was like,
done.
Cool, and that's where the trailer has to go back to anyway. And I'm like, done. So, and that way, I really didn't want to throw the thing away. And I didn't, the dump probably would have charged me quite. The thing weighs 400 or 500 pounds.
Yeah.
So the dump was going to charge me, but that worked out all freaking perfect, and it's out of the way now.
Well, that's good.
Yes.
Because the tile work on it really was very, very nice. And when the sun hit it, the blues and greens in it.
Oh, it was so pretty.
Really good.
But BMW. I want to try to do BMW stuff tomorrow. I need to get that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're replacing that cooler, you might just have to cut the cooler up and do what you have to do.
I want to because I want you to be able to come over and do donuts in it in the freaking road.
To be able to get the release tool to get in there and release the fingers in there.
Because everything I was looking at, they were saying that these disconnect lines, they get stiff and you have to spray lube into them and then work them back and forth to clips till they spin. And mine were seized and the lines weren't moving. I was like, all right, so that's what it is.
Do you want get some of that Corrosion X, the stuff that I got?
No, I have them freed up. It's not that.
Okay.
It's so you got the plastic, the plastic quick disconnect, and you got the metal tube coming off of the transmission cooler going in. Well, from it hitting the road, it's bent up and pushed up against the inside of it. And I tried moving it with pliers, and it's just there's nothing to pry against, and I don't want to break it. It's like it's difficult. It's a difficult spot kind of thing.
You don't want to break the line, but I mean, the cooler's already wrecked, so you're replacing it. So cut around it.
That's what I was thinking. Is just cut the nipples, and then maybe they'll be free, and then I can slip my tool in to get the nipples out, and then boop, boop, pop them on the new one, and be done.
That's what you're gonna have to do. I think.
I think
That
so.
sounds like it hurts.
I was gonna say phrasing.
And the retainer clip was still in the radiator.
Don't tell that.
Yeah.
The kid thought the retainer clip flew out.
So
I'll tell you what
flashback.
though, that retainer clip, I guess they must just wear out. Because it's literally, you got 2 small nipples that seat into the radiator and 1 big one, and it's got like this weird looking retainer
Sounds
clip
like a birth effect.
that goes around the center one. And that's all that holds it into the radiator. That's all that holds it in. And that retainer clip, I guess it gets hot and cold, and it just loses its metal tension. And it was still in there, and I was like, oh, cool. I don't need to put a new clip in. And I put my new one in, and I was like, this shits and giggles. I'm like, and it came right back out, and I was like, oh, this clip. And I took the clip out, and the clip was like breaking apart like a paper clip. So I thankfully I bought new clips, and yeah, like I said, I did that part. I filled the cooling system. I bled the cooling system. I let it run for an hour, operating temperature with the AC on, fans operating, everything working perfect, no coolant leaks.
Nice.
That part is done.
That's good.
But it still it needs the valve cover gasket and the spark plugs need to be done. That's because it won't, if you have the AC on, it won't idle. It'll stall out. And then if you come to a stop too quickly without putting your foot on the gas, it'll stall out, and it bumbles, and like you can literally see like the 1, 2, and 3 have oil coming out like around the bottom of the coils on the valve.
Yeah, those are cooked.
Yeah.
I imagine your coil boots are probably going to be cooked from the oil exposure too.
That's what I'm worried about, and I think I might need to just preemptively get some coil boots.
Yeah,
well,
I would.
Yeah. Because they're gonna fall apart when you take them out.
I have a feeling
They're gonna fall apart when you take them out.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Yeah. So that's after that. I should be in theory I should be ready to sell the car. So.
Yeah.
Well, I got tires. I need to put tires on it, and also I noticed a big clunk from the passenger front, and also the passenger front seems to be like kind of sunk a little bit. I think it needs a strut. But other than that, the car it leaks a little bit of oil. I noticed, not like anything crazy, but no rust under it, and I got the wheels to spin and everything. So, and AC works good. I still haven't got the radio to work though. I changed every fuse in the fuse box, and the radio still will not work.
Weird.
And I want it to work. Like I kind of don't care because I'm going to be selling it, but I'd like it.
Check
the
your
sound
grounds.
factory. Yeah, and that's what I was going to check grounds because it's got one of these double din ones that goes like with the screen that comes out. It's a pile. The pile.
There's a fuse in the back of them.
Yeah.
There is a fuse in the back.
Yeah, a lot of those radios did have fuses back there.
Yes. I'll pull the radio out.
Pull the radio out. Check the fuse in the back of it, and make sure it's hooked up.
Yeah, it might not even be hooked up.
Yeah, like I said, because sometimes
And also
people
the Pals is like an off-brand.
because but also too, some people would just say, "Oh, I can just do that. I don't need to buy the wiring harness kit." And
well, and that's already what it looks like too. Like somebody literally.
That's when you get my 86.
They-
to where it's
They put it in the factory radio hole. They like modified the factory radio hole and put it in there, and it's fit in like actually really nicely. But I wanted to work for a selling point because, like I said, things got AC, auto windows, and everything. Everything works. Like
so, is
I
it a
prefer
single din or a double din?
It's a single din, and it just has the screen that comes
It's
out
a
and folds
flip
up.
I mean, if it comes down to it, you can get a $40 radio from Walmart, slap it in the hole, and make it work.
That's what I was thinking too. Like one of them duals, just so it has music.
Yeah, I mean, hell, you can get a single din, just USB Bluetooth without any type of disc drive in it.
Walmart
And I was gonna do some
$35. I was looking at them today.
Yeah, for dirt cheap, and hey, it's got Bluetooth and USB, and it makes sound.
I was gonna do like some nice seat covers too, because the front seat and the rear seat on the driver's side are ripped. But some of them form-fitted seat covers are too expensive. I think
They're very expensive.
like for the amount that I think it will dissuade people, like of money. I don't think it's worth it to buy them and put them on. Like I don't think people are gonna care about a couple small. It's like a rip this long and a rip this long.
No.
On both the driver's side. I really don't think.
No, I don't think you make your money back on that.
No. So I'm trying to keep track of everything. I want to see how much I make. That's what I'm doing as part of my YouTube series is keep track of the parts that I purchased and everything and see what kind of profit I can make. So I'm like about $1,100-$1,200 into it with buying the car right now.
Yeah, like I said, get the transmission fixed because I definitely want to drive. I want to drive modern straight six.
You need to rip. it sounds, even with the stock exhaust and everything, it sounds so good. Because like after about like 3,000, 3,200 RPM, it clears up, and you just rev it, hit the bum bum. Oh yeah. Good straight six sounds. 190 horsepower of anger.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit different than the flathead sixes I drove.
Right.
And I'm not shit talking those flathead sixes because, like I said, one was well over 100 years old and
Those
never
are
been apart, so that was
engines.
super cool.
And flatheads run so smoothly.
You know, even the 4-cylinder in the Model T, that little flathead 4-cylinder.
It's a sewing machine.
Once you cranked it up and then brought your timing back in, brought your timing back down to where it was happy, that little thing just sit there and just sort of ticked over.
Yep, it's like a sewing machine.
And even when you gave it throttle and you had it in gear and you had the thing rolling down the road, it was just there's plenty of vibration in the car because it's basically a wagon with an engine on it.
But it's not the motor.
It's not the engine. It's that little thing. Like you said, it's like a sewing machine.
It's the tires vibrating. It's everything else.
It's everything else wobbling and shaking. It probably that car would actually be better on a dirt road than a paved road.
Yeah,
because that was what it was made to do. Going 55 miles an hour downhill and that thing was
frightening,
sketchy.
Well, it's like the guy
because it was all over because it was doing this because when those cars were built they didn't have paved roads, they were basically driving down wagon trails.
Right. Yeah, and you were meant to go 55.
No, you weren't meant.
You were never meant to go 55.
But you were meant to be in a rut.
Yeah,
and basically you followed the rut.
Well, this thing on flat ground with the 2-speed rear end in overdrive, it would do between 40 and 45 on flat ground and zero wind. Like that was just all the throttle, all the timing, second gear on the transmission, and overdrive in the rear axle. That's all you were going to get out of it on a good day.
So it'd be like the mini bikes with a torque converter.
Yeah, kind of. But in that same drive, we ended up going downhill with a little bit of a tailwind, and we started going quicker and quicker, and I'm like, all right. So I brought up the GPS speedometer on my phone, and it just started. When it clicked over 50, I'm like, shit's getting real right about now. And we actually touched and held 55 for about 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And it was
sketchy.
And it was doing this across the lane, like. But it was never meant to do that. But yeah, it was no seatbelts.
Yeah, you die like men.
Absolutely. I mean, even though we were in a car...
You probably don't want to be strapped in it.
Oh, no. Like I said, even though we were in a car, we were still meat crayons at that point.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're not on those old cars like that, you're not in a car.
You're on it.
You're on a car.
A car.
Yeah, you're on the car.
You kind of like ride on top of it.
It's kind of like mini bikes. It's one of those, I don't want to be strapped in. Like, hell, that 32 on that, I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. And to think I can make it go faster, I'm like, I don't know if I want to.
I mean, even if you don't, I do think taking like the torque converter, the CVT add on there, it will accelerate like mad.
That's gonna add. Well, it already accelerates like mad.
No, it will really accelerate like mad.
I know. Like, no, I know I can make it to at least 45 miles per hour, but I don't want to. Like, it's perfect where it's at because I'm already scared. I've already crashed it once. I'm good. I'm good.
I do think it's funny. You're like, take mine for a lap. And after riding mine and then riding yours again, I'm like, nah.
And then after riding yours, I'm like, no, because, like, Chris was like, no, like, you hit certain bumps and, like, it was hurting my back. I'm like, mine really wasn't doing that. And then I rode yours and I'm like, I don't know what's wrong, but oh my god, the back end, like, just...
It is.
And
I think he's got that tire pumped up.
Yeah,
to
I think it's air pressure.
Like I said, 10 psi, 24 is what seats it.
Yeah.
Like
I'm thinking the rear tire pressure's too high because I did notice that, like, even on the pavement when Mike would like get onto his and move it, I could see his tires squish, and I didn't see that with yours.
Because I have it at 9 pounds. I have that at 9 pounds, and 10 is the max riding one, and. But man, yours, like, I hit a couple bumps and I was like, oh,
digital pressure gauge.
Yep.
So you're not 1.5 psi off.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to be like the guy in the BMW. Brian brought that up earlier, and I was like, I forgot that him wrecking that M3 was, well, it was an M2.
It was a video of this guy in a BMW did a pull out, and when he pulled out, it went way this way, and then it started to come back, and rather than just feeding a little oppo into it and stomping on it, he let off of it. No, he didn't hit the brakes. He let off of it. It snapped. And when it caught and started to lurch forward, he did steer it straight, but he went right across a concrete median into the opposite lane. And then just tried to just drive it off like it was nothing and just make the left turn and go. And then the video got posted, and it ended up on a BMW forum. And then that guy tried to say, I should have used a digital tire pressure gauge because my tires were 1.5.
I know the video.
Yeah, my tires were 1.5 psi off. And he's like, my tires were 1.5 psi too low because I didn't use a digital tire gauge.
No, too high.
Too high. And everybody was clowning, like, dude, it wasn't a tire gauge. You were driving like an idiot.
A 1.5.
God, that was like 15 years ago.
Yeah, 1.5 was not going to cause that to happen.
Some people just shouldn't be driving.
For real.
There's a guy I have seen a couple times on my way to work. He lives down in Popka. He's got a newer Mustang with a blower on it, and it's got temp tags on it still and everything. And
is it a blue one?
No, it's black, and it has Instagram stickers all over it, and still has a temp tag. Like,
there's a blue one with
priorities.
A blower. Yeah. Well, Brian, there's actually a blue one with a blower, dark blue with a blower, Rouse Stage 3 blower on it, automatic, $1,000.
Well, this guy
Inverness.
This guy barely knows how to drive stick.
17. 18. 17 or 18.
That'd be a 10-speed. I don't know if I want the 10-speed.
No.
Not necessarily a 10-speed. That was the year you could get them both.
Yeah.
I don't know. Every 18 I've seen has either been a 6-speed manual or 10-speed.
Yeah, the 18s you could upgrade to the 10-speed for a cost, but the 6R80 was still available.
Yeah, because every 18 that I've seen has all been the 10R80s. Like the Gen 3 Coyotes were 10R80s. I've never seen the Gen 3 Coyote with a 6R.
Yeah, 18 only. It was 18 only was the year you could get the 6R80 or the 10R80.
Like I said,
Brian needs an automatic R34.
Yeah.
No, if I'm gonna get a Skyline, it's gotta be an R32 because
that's an R32.
Gonna go potty and then I'll get the next beer and also, Dan, continue your story.
Yeah, your idiot driver that you've been talking about.
Oh yeah, so no, I was on my way, into work into Crystal River, and my car's loud, and I guess just one of the downshifts it had just got him giddy, and he got all next to me, and he's trying to like rev his car up, and I'm like, good for you, bro. And he went to roll into it at a light in first, and got almost completely sideways on 44, corrected, and then slammed on the brakes, shifted in second, the car bad, and lugged it in third bad, and drove normal. And then we get to 44 and 19, he tried it again and almost lost it, like, into the Wawa parking lot. And I'm like, dude, you should, that's bought power that you don't know how to handle. And there's too much of that. Too much of that happening.
Well, that boils down to the problem that the car scene in general has been seeing. Is that 1,500 horsepower is the new 500 horsepower.
And every car is
these cars are getting way too powerful for way too cheap.
Yeah.
And way too easy to... And I know that sounds crazy to say.
I was going to say, ain't no fucking cheap cars left now.
I know it's crazy to say that, but when 1,500 horsepower can be attainable to somebody at 19 years old if they're willing to go into the debt for it.
Yeah.
Well, and think about it, too. So many of these cars are being recycled, too. Just this dude, he looked like he was probably in his early 20s. So let's just...
And that's probably the 4th or 5th owner for that car.
So, yeah, and let's plant you back. Let's say you guys are 23, and you're able to get a 600 horsepower supercharged car for a couple $100 a month that you can afford. You're gonna...
we'd have been dead.
Right, yeah,
exactly. We'd have been dead.
And that's what's happening. It is like you're getting these highly modified, passed-off cars, and then also just like, your modern V8 cars now that are performance are 500 horsepower, if not more, and you can get them for dirt cheap. And half these people are honestly using it.
But also, too, half these people immediately get into a car like that, having never driven a car like that, and go on the traction control button.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean when I say they're too cheap. I'm not saying monetarily speaking. They're still expensive.
Yeah.
What I mean is that I could go right now, go to the Ford dealership, get a new Mustang, go on to American Muscle, order a twin turbo kit, order the fuel mods that I need for it, and with very little knowledge and very little experience.
And you can,
I could be making 1,000 horsepower
and you
overnight.
you can affirm all that shit,
and I can
too,
affirm all of it. Now
like,
with
just make
no
payments.
with no payment on my end, and what I mean by payment is no experience.
Yes.
I didn't have to build that car a little at a time to get to that 1,200 horsepower.
And
And
you
you
only
I
I bolted
for 4
on.
minutes.
I've been driving it for 4 minutes, and now I've got 1,200 horsepower.
Yeah.
But
that
you also
I have no idea how to handle.
But you also didn't drive other increasingly quicker
Correct.
Yeah.
rear drive platforms.
You didn't get to that point by earning it. You went out and bought it,
Yeah.
and you have
Was
no
das?
idea how to do it.
What is that?
Johnny Cuba.
Beer.
Johnny Cuba. Who's Johnny and what's this?
Are we sure we haven't had this before? This looks really familiar.
We have not had this
I've
one.
never seen this before.
How is Johnny Cuba a German lager?
With Caribbean roots.
Oh,
or
wait a
Caribbean
minute.
soul.
I don't think we've ever had this. I didn't look at the list because also
Wait,
we were in
hold
ABC.
on. Johnny Cuba, premium German lager, a beer with European roots and Caribbean soul.
Seriously,
that's
I
a
don't
lot.
think we've ever had this before. If we have,
No,
then
the rooster is something like remindful.
have we
But
had
I don't
this
think we've
before?
had this.
Well, we've
before.
had Old Speckled Hen. That's about as close to
I
all right.
think just the rooster logo is throwing me off. I
I
don't think we've had
really-
this before.
I
Look
really
at
don't
that.
think
Looks
that-
like a good freaking lager.
Well,
though.
hold on.
Yeah.
Or even Johnny. Can you
Cigar.
Where's the beer list?
Well, Brian's looking at it. and
Oh
he's
my
like,
God.
Did we do it?
Episode 133.
Really?
Told you.
And that was the only beer that we had.
I remembered this being very familiar. That's the German beer with a Caribbean soul. I remembered that.
Really? And okay, so that was a year
Well,
and a half ago.
Revisiting a lost classic.
Yes.
Well,
we don't remember
well,
it, so
no-
let's do
well,
it again.
I mean, seriously, like, wow.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
guys.
look at the.
How dare you? It's not like any of us have ever brought an accidentally doubled up before.
At least
Like,
you didn't bring the freaking hibiscus beer.
No,
right,
I'm
you
not
didn't bring
like
the
you,
hibiscus
Dan.
beer 3 times.
Like, seriously.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry,
no,
guys.
I'm
Asterisk.
I apologize about that.
It's okay, bud.
Like, I really thought that we never had this one before. Also, Brian, does your glass have a etch in it? Because, like,
No, these don't have an etch, I don't
well,
think.
then, because that one's constant
And that.
flowing.
Well, Chris's is too. But yeah, mine was doing that with the blood
I'm not
orange
getting
too.
anything.
Yeah, yours is cascading a
a
little bit,
little
but
bit.
not like mine. Mine
No,
is going.
Brian's is just straight on, just
Like
constant.
Dan's,
wow.
Dan's is a little bit. Mine's going nuts over here.
So's yours, Mike.
No,
They're
barely,
all doing it.
barely-
Cuban.
No, Brian's going like constant.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I apologize about that, guys. I mean,
Oh no, you brought a
But-
really good beer a second time.
Well, we don't recall.
but that was the only beer we had
So-
that episode, though.
Yeah, Johnny Premium German Lager.
German.
It's a beer with European roots.
No,
with
what
a
does that say right under Premium German?
Premium German lager.
Lager. Okay.
Special.
Sorry.
A beer with European roots and a Caribbean soul.
Okay, so I put an asterisk next to that one because that denotes that we have had this one before.
Okay.
All right, but
I love the ingredient list. Water, barley malt, hops.
Beer.
beer,
Done.
beer.
Well, I gotta say,
Sounds
I
like
got
that.
it on sale for $6 for the 6-pack, so that's why I got it.
Hey, good job. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Slots, gentlemen, salute.
But I
Prost.
looked at it and
Yeah, I'm gonna say
Chin chin.
I'm gonna say
Chin chin.
salute and prost for this one.
Okay, I get the
It's-
Caribbean vibe.
It's beer.
It's beer.
I like it.
It is a decent beer.
I'm trying
Have-
to
have
look
it-
at
have
Quite a good beer.
someone coming. or
Have any
something.
of you guys ever had Sands before?
No.
Sands is a Bahamian. What would you call
Bohemian?
it?
Bohemian.
Bahamian, not
Bohemian.
Bohemian.
It's not a
Sands.
Rhapsody.
It is the only brewery in the Bahamas, and they make 2 beers. They make Sands and Sands Light, and this tastes a lot like Sands, actually.
It's really good.
Yeah.
That's delicious.
So they're the Chrysler of beer.
Yeah.
Pacifica.
Swiggle said Nanny Electronics save lives for the new young driver, but that's the problem.
Oh, that's
they
Brett.
go over and they click it off as soon as they get in the car.
Oh, that's Brett.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you have another ashtray by chance?
Do, but I don't know where they're at.
Here.
Can I use that one?
Yeah. I'll figure something out.
Speaking of that, though, I wanted to actually talk about that. The Chrysler Pacifica.
And the Pacifica Hybrid.
Because that's all they have.
Had to go to Lakeland last weekend and took family's 2022 or 23 Chrysler Pacifica Pinnacle, which is like the top version or whatever.
Was it a hybrid or not?
No, not a hybrid. What a pleasant driving experience and a rad road trip mobile. I'm not gonna lie.
Because that's all they have.
Well,
They
it has that Chrysler e-torque crap.
It's got the e-torque.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, not for nothing. The second you touch the gas pedal, it's like that. You're like, oh, hello, let's go. And
So it's like somebody put a pedal commander on it.
yeah, and
Everybody knows, but the thing is, everybody knows pedal commanders are absolute trash.
It was so surprisingly
get the,
user friendly. Like all of the
the
touch
bench one.
haptic crap, it was user friendly. Like everything was very nice and easy. Good, nice soft touch materials. I was so comfortable driving that thing. I had to turn some of the assists off. Like I feel like I'm playing a freaking racing video game now. But like some of the assist crap I had to turn off. Like I don't like when the cars now you get close to the line and they forcibly move the steering wheel. I had to turn that off and a couple things. But
So I'm very happy that the Expedition you have to turn that on, but with Jason's Mustang,
It's on by default.
Hopefully Jason's watching because
He's not.
He fucking loves that. He loves that. He absolutely loves that shit. And when they were on vacation, they took the Expedition, and we had that his Mustang. I'm driving down Poplar, and I'm trying to miss the fucking potholes.
And the car's fighting you.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And I finally figured it out. I'm like, oh, turned it off and going. Well, apparently when you turn it off, it stays off. And then Jason got in the car after we gave it back to him, and he called. He's like, what the fuck did you do to the car? It's not. I'm like, I didn't do anything. He's like something's wrong, and I'm like, I turned off the lane keep assist because I'm a grown ass man and don't need that. And he's like, how'd you turn it off?
you put it on to the hard difficulty, and you gotta put it back on
It's
easy.
literally on the turn signal stock, and he's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah, because I don't.
We have to explain here. Our friend Jason is absolutely not a car guy.
No.
However, he has been sort of initiated because he's assisted on a whole bunch of brake jobs recently. I've done way more brake jobs in the past 2 years than I've ever wanted to do in the past 2 years.
Right. At least it's not like the GMs though. The GMs vibrate your butthole, and it really scares you.
Oh no, Sabrina loves that. Was there her mom's Cadillac? She loves that because of that.
It scared me.
Yeah, but
It
no.
scared me.
The Ford,
I
the
made
Ford
a
ones,
lane change because it happened.
The
I was
Ford
like,
ones,
oh, hello.
Fight you. It literally will fight you, and I'm like, why am I
that
fighting
electric
this?
power steering will just.
This is horrible. What the fuck's going on? And I realized it was, and I turned it off. I'm like, oh, way more pleasant to drive.
But yeah, not for nothing though.
Which is
Chrysler
weird because
Pacifica.
when I drove it, I didn't have any issues. It didn't fight me at all. Changing lanes or doing
Because at
anything
that
that I was
point,
doing.
I think I already had it turned off.
10 out of 10 driving machine, to be honest, and road trip machine. I think it was, and it did great on gas, and I kind of gave it the beans quite a bit, and
It's a
everybody
van.
was comfortable
Everybody
in it.
loves a van.
Well, I mean, some things are just really good at a particular thing, and that's what
it-
that's
it-
good at.
Yeah, it really was. That's the thing.
Well,
I
that's-
wasn't expecting anything beyond that.
Sorry,
You're fine.
sorry.
Well, again,
You're
it's
not bothering me one bit.
it's like the Altima. Everybody takes the piss out of the Altimas because big Altima Energy and the people who drive them and
Look,
everything else.
Ultimas are good utilities, just
But
like
they're-
Camrys.
The
they're
Altima
cheap
is
car that is great.
the
They last
Altima
forever.
is a good
It
car.
is.
Right.
Even with the shitty Jatco CVT, it's still a good
Yeah.
car.
Yep.
You need a commute? Awesome. You need a
You want good gas mileage? Awesome.
Awesome.
You want room for 4 grown ass adults?
Can I interject with just a small change on that? Conveyance.
There you go. That's a good way.
No,
to put it.
I'm gonna go with car.
You're gonna go with car?
I'm gonna go with car. Like I said, I've put many a mile on one.
Okay.
3 of them actually. I put many a mile on 3 of them. The first one had an actual transmission, 5-speed automatic. The second one, the 2013, was, CVT. It met an early demise because an elderly driver decided to, not yield on a left turn cross traffic at Crofton 486 and put my mom in the facing...
I remember that one.
Yeah, she was facing the opposite direction in the opposite lanes. And when I first pulled up, and I was like, how the hell did she end up there? And then the deputy told me what the witnesses said, and I was like, okay, that makes perfect sense. After I heard that and took a look, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So we ended up taking the remains of that one, and that's when we got a nearly identical 15, and that thing's got 130 some odd thousand miles on it. The only repairs that I've done to it's been a battery terminal, right rear bearing hub, which also happened on the 06, but when I did that one, I did this one just because it's easy to change 4 bolts.
They're cheap.
I just recently did all 4 brakes on it.
Yeah.
Like 135,000 miles on the original brakes.
Yep, that's awesome.
Well, and like my mom had her red one that had 210,000 miles when she traded it in and got like the body style that you had, red one, and then put another 200,000 miles on that one, and then now it's got the black one, but same thing. Like the reason she keeps them going back is because
they're good cars.
They're great. And then my old coworker that retired, Skip, they just his wife ended up having a 2022 blue, really nice one, and that he ended up having his whole entire shoulder replaced, right, rotator cuff, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the seatbelt ended up locking up on him, and they couldn't get it off, so they had to cut the seatbelt. He was asking me, like, hey, I need a new seatbelt. Can you find one? None of the auto stores, anything had them. You only had to go through Nissan because of all this stuff. And I'm like, listen, normally I would work on his cars, and I'm like, I can't find, you have to go through Nissan. And yesterday we had our end of the year dinner and all that, and so Skip came, and even though he's been retired 2 years, we always invite Skip and that. And I'm like, so, like, did you get the new seatbelt put in? He's like, yeah, I got a new car. I'm like, he's like, I called him. It was gonna be like $600-$700 for the new seatbelt and installing it and all that. He's like, so I drove it up there, and they're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be that. And he's like, okay, well, you keep on sending in the mail that you want my car for this price and all that.
You just trade it in.
I'm just gonna trade it in. They're like, well, we'll have to deduct that. He's like, no. You keep on sending in saying you're gonna give me this price. I'm happy with that price. Trade it in. Ended up, and Skip does some wheeling and dealing. He ended up getting $1 off of what they offered him and all that. He's like, so I only had to pay like $2,000 onto a brand new, fully loaded Altima and all that. He's like, I'm running super happy with it. And he's like, it's got way more bells and whistles. He's like, it's amazing.
The only other thing I've had to
got another Altima.
The only other thing I've had to do with the car was Dad said that the windows quit working.
Oh, the switch.
And
one.
so
that happened with my dad's Rogue.
So I started looking it up, and the switches on the other 3 doors are just switches, but the switch on the driver's door is a module.
Correct.
And so I'm like, okay, maybe some rainwater got in there, maybe there's some corrosion in the switch, whatever. So I pulled it out, pulled it all apart, cleaned everything up, slapped it back together, was getting ready to put it back in the car, and then I noticed on the connector, one pin was discolored. It's the ground pin, and it had corrosion in it. So, did a little, quick interweb searching with the Google machine that I keep in my pocket, and found out that that's actually kind of a common thing for the Altimas. So I just took, the little spray cleaners that you get for your battery terminals.
Yeah.
And then, all right, the corrosion cleaner and acid dash in there, and man, that thing foamed up like crazy.
So I wonder if that's what happens if that's what happened with my dad's Rogue.
Probably
because it was his 2 passenger windows. His driver windows would work.
Yeah,
but the passenger ones wouldn't from the master switch.
Like I said, when it's a problem, it would take down the whole network.
That's probably what it was.
But yeah, like I said, it ended up being that ground. So then I just went at it with. Went after it with electronics cleaner, and then went into the anti-corrosion stuff and got the corrosion cleaner, then neutralized that, and then took the red battery spray, the corrosion preventative spray, slapped it all together, and that's been 2.5 years now.
Yep.
Nice.
And it's holding, it's working. But I mean, it's an easy car to work on. It does everything you ask it to do without complaint. It gets good gas mileage. It rides comfortably. It's a good car.
Right. Yeah. Good car.
And I mean, obviously, it's a good car because you see how beat up those things get. But every time someone
Yeah.
gets in it and hits that start button, the QR25DE roars to life, and the JAT code that everybody hates makes that thing still go down the
See,
road.
the QR25 is one of the best motors ever made, and I'll die on that hill, to be honest.
Not a performance engine, it's just a reliable...
It's like a 4-liter straight 6 out of a Jeep. You can't kill it.
Well, it's one of those engines that goes maintenance, oil changes. If you want to do it,
I'm
if you
used
don't,
to you
it is
neglecting
what
me.
it is.
I'm gonna keep working, Dad. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
it's one of those. I actually think they get better when you neglect them.
Like
Maybe.
BMW will be like, if you don't change the oil at the exact
And it
moment,
needs to be
I need to have it changed.
Oil
if you
is
don't
oil.
maintain that oil perfectly, I will wither and die.
Well, no.
A Nissan Altima would be like 2 little teaspoons of oil sludge mixed with some coolant.
And it's vibrant.
Oil is oil.
It's happy.
Good. It's a lubricant. Now, the Germans are all big on rules. These are the rules. You cannot break the rules.
So I have before we get off. Of
Maybe
all
that
of
was the
that,
problem. Someone broke the rules with yours.
So Cletus announced that. So October 11th is the next Ultima race and all that.
100 cars on the track.
Yeah, instead of
Let's
seven-
I'm
well,
in.
oh no, we've already been looking like. So if y'all want to go again, because I 100% am going again. Like we're gonna buy them like as soon as like once we're back from vacation, we're gonna buy them and we're gonna do the VIP again because we were talking about it. Like you got the stands, like that's cool, but like we were able to be like in the lawless section.
Right.
But not only were we in the lawless section,
We were with everybody else.
we were also with a bunch of other hooligans in the lawless section.
and also I was 10
we
feet
also
from Mr.
had
Sam.
much quicker access to
bathrooms and
and beer
And,
and everything there.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, like I said, before the race, walking down all along the pit side and seeing all like
for
all
an
the
extra
cars.
$10. I mean, come on, what's
It's worth
that
it.
not
For
awesome?
all the, like I said, seeing all the cars and seeing all the other people that are there doing the stuff.
Yeah.
And plus, unlike the people that are in the stands, we were told not to stand along the fence, and we
But
stood
we-
along the fence.
We signed a waiver.
And
We
nobody
signed a
said
wa-
nothing to us.
Because
No.
we signed a waiver.
Right.
And I was washing little bits of Ultima out of my hair for 2 days after that.
Yeah.
But so this time, he is opening it up for 100 Ultimas versus
There was
the
like
75.
there was like
before.
70 something, 74, 75 on the
Yeah,
last
but
one.
no, 75 was the limit that he put it for. He's like, I'm opening up to 100 this time.
Let's go.
What was amazing about
Yeah.
that was the lack of Nissan Altimas we saw on the road going down there
Because
and
they were
coming
all
back.
going there. Well, no, we saw on the way back on the trailers that were
But
fucking
okay, running and driving, like there were no Altimas on the road causing havoc because they had all been
And
destroyed.
the memes that have come from it, like
Just don't let me pull into the Freedom Factory because I'll miss the turn and almost
The
wipe us out.
craziest part about that race was the
Well,
fact that they
that's because you
they were
tried
like,
to pull
all
in
right,
the BMP.
wrecked cars, stay right where they are.
Oh yeah, like I said, it was an enduro style
You're
race.
now enduro style. Like that's
Well,
that's
and
now
that
just a
was the thing.
chicane.
listen. No, they're in Nissan Altimas. It's a regular day in Atlanta traffic.
Yeah.
There's a molten
real.
car on the side of the road. There might be a broke down car in the second lane on the left, and
I was
you just
gonna
gotta
say-
weave around
I was
everything.
gonna say that was I-75 in downtown Atlanta.
Right.
That's what that was.
What are you kidding? That's the I-4 I-75 interchange in downtown Tampa.
No. If you've ever been through Atlanta,
It's
and
even worse.
like if
There's
if
literally
you don't-
abandoned stolen cars on the side of the roads and
if
stuff.
you
and
don't take the Atlanta and you know what I'm talking about. If you don't take the
Atlanta
Atlanta bypass,
no.
and you go and if you miss that, you're like, bruh, I'm going straight through Atlanta on 75. You're going past the Coke plant,
Coke plant.
and you're going past.
You've never driven through Atlanta?
No, I haven't.
All right, I'm gonna explain it to you real quick. It's really easy
if
to
you-
explain.
Chaos.
You're going by, and then all of a sudden you realize, fuck, I missed the bypass. It's seatbelt on. Oh my god, here we go. This is where all those police chases that we watched. That's that.
Have you ever been in bumper to bumper traffic?
You ever been in bumper traffic that goes 75 miles per hour?
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's bumper to bumper traffic, and I mean bumper to bumper. Like
That's I-95 in the 90s.
At
like
75.
No. But it's 9 lanes wide.
Definitely not I-95.
No,
it's
wide.
brutal. It's brutal.
It's 9 lanes on
Dude,
every
it's so
side.
good.
Okay.
Anybody else?
No.
Now each side is 9 lanes. and it is bumper to bumper. You've got an 18-wheeler 8 inches away from your window here. You are 4 inches from the guy in front of you. The guy behind you is 3 inches from your bumper,
Honking
flashing and honking its horn. Because how dare you leave an extra inch up there?
That's called drafting.
And you're doing 80 miles an hour through downtown.
That's called drafting.
It is just the most stressful, horrific traffic I have ever driven in.
It is horrible.
Like, I don't understand how they don't just get together as a city. Like, they all just have
Shut
a big
this
town
down.
meeting and go, that's it. No one else can move here.
I'm
bad.
not gonna lie. I wish we could do that with Florida.
No, but that, and it's like 19 miles. Like it's not that
it's
long.
brutal.
That it's not that many miles. But oh my god, if you miss that like if you're not going to Atlanta and you miss that bypass, it is the worst 2 hours of your life.
Yeah, I
to
remember
go
the
that
time
19
I
miles.
missed the bypass coming home.
And you're like, oh no.
Because the way my
no.
school was, you had to get on the highway and immediately cross 8 lanes of traffic
To
in
get to
that
the
like
bypass.
80 mile an hour nonsense to get to the bypass, and I missed it. Because there's also entrances and exits
on every
both
corner.
sides.
It's horrible.
It's on both sides of the highway.
Oh wow.
So you're driving in the fast lane, there's an exit. You're driving in the slow lane, there's an exit.
Yep.
Seriously,
It's
Brian,
really
it's bad.
confusing.
It is bad. It is bad.
Well, no,
And-
that's like doing like you were talking about with driving the right-hand drive earlier.
driving through Atlanta. It's like driving that. You
Well,
don't know where to go.
You know, like I get off the plane in Dublin, get my rental car, my Nissan Micra, a 5-speed manual, and it's right-hand drive. I'm driving on the left side of the road, and I have never seen a roundabout in my life before. I don't know what roundabouts are. So
In New Jersey, they call them rotaries.
well, also, I didn't realize that GPSs don't work in other countries. Like, you have to buy map packs. So I was like, what are we going to do? And the rental car place is like, hey, we'll rent this Wi-Fi box, and you can run Google Maps on your phone. I'm like, cool, let's do that. And Google Maps said, in the next roundabout, take the 7th exit. And I was like, the who, the what, and the 7th what? And right outside of the Dublin airport, there is a 5 or 6 lane wide roundabout with about 10 exits. And I have never been in one before, and I'm driving on the other side of the car, shifting with my other hand, doing all this stuff for the first time. And I went, ah! And about like 10 minutes into it, I realized how to navigate and where to exit.
Brett's talking about the Atlanta traffic and said it's just the pace lap at the Daytona. LOL.
Pretty much.
No, look,
And yeah, no, you're in
that's
the new
the best
country
way
for the
to-
first time, driving on the wrong side of the car, on the wrong side of the road. They expect you to navigate the fucking cyclotron.
Yeah, by the way, I want to have Brett on because he was recently over in Portugal, and we were talking about what he encountered with car culture and stuff over there. And I would really like to have him on to have that discussion with you guys.
Yeah, next
I
episode,
agree.
have him
Yeah, I
on.
think it would be real
I
interesting.
miss Brett. I haven't seen him in so long.
Interesting for you guys to kind of, like I said, what we were talking about. It'd be real interesting for you guys to hear.
Well,
Because,
at
like I
that
said,
point,
because he was just there.
He's willing to come on and bring the car to where we can do something beforehand. If not, understand that we can
We'll
do.
talk to him.
We'll understand, Dragon and then also with his car, which is a handful. We can figure something out. But yes, no, I would love to have him on the show, and I would also love to have his car on the show.
Yeah.
Because one of our early videos was Dan doing a take with his car like 2 motors ago, non-nitrous and all that. So yeah, no, that would be good.
And on that note,
Yeah, that car has changed a lot. Yeah, we didn't do an
Yes.
auction car today because, well, we were doing other things.
it's all right.
Yeah.
Well, I
My
think
knee
that's a
still
good way
hurts.
to end it, and we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
He said, "Can I bring the Mustangs?"
Yeah,
There we
absolutely.
go.
Bring the
Yeah.
Mustang.
Look, hey, guys, in 2 weeks, we'll have the Mustang with Brett.
Yes.
And we'll do my house so that way it's closer to you.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So, have a great night, guys. Thank you for watching.
Thank you guys
See you in
for
a couple
watching.
weeks. Cheers. Next time.
We won't hurt ourselves this time.